Today, we're going to take a look at two of my favorite pieces of equipment, but specifically, we're going to look at the Korg Volca Keys. I have had this thing for about a year now, and I am loving it. It's a really cool analog synth, very lo-fi sounding, but for such a tiny little piece of equipment, it really packs a punch. We are going to be pairing that with the Korg Volca Sample. If you've been on my channel at all, you know that I love the Korg Volca Sample, so I'm really excited to put these two pieces of equipment together today and show you how I like to play around with them in Jam. Real quick plug, I've got a couple of free sample packs which I've linked in the description. Feel free to check those out if you want some new sounds to play around with in your own music production. So I've got my Volca Sample here, my Volca Keys, got a cord going from the sync out port of the sample into the sync in port of the Volca Keys. That just lets me control the tempo of the sequence on the keys from the Volca Sample. So as I turn the tempo up or down on the sample, it'll turn the tempo up or down on the Volca Keys. Now, one thing that the Volca Keys cannot do is read the swing information from the Volca Sample. Huge bummer, but that's totally okay for now. Let's start with some sort of like synthwave kind of pattern. I'm going to go to poly mode. That lets me play 3 notes at once. Oof, got to adjust these cutoff settings. Let's take down that resonance a bit. I'm going to turn the sustain and release up a bit. Let's go down a few octaves and I'll record in my pattern. Now, one thing the Volca Keys has that is really cool is called the trigger sync. With this enabled, as soon as I press record and the first note I hit will automatically start recording the sequence. Check it out. I'm actually going to turn on the metronome by holding function metronome. So here we go. Watch, as soon as I hit that first note, the metronome will start playing and the sequence will record. First, let's turn the tempo all the way down on the sample, just because playing a very fast sequence into this tiny little touch keyboard on the keys is really tough. Okay, sorry for the delay. Here we go. Here we go. Now I'm gonna go up a few octaves and play some notes on top of that. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's go up another octave and play a few more notes on top. Turn off that metronome. Cool. Let's take that tempo up to about 80 or so, because this is sort of a cool synthwave chiptune kind of sequence, I guess we got going here. So I actually have just a very basic beat on the Korg Volca Sample that we'll play in. Going to mute some of these other samples on the Volca here. Sorry about that noise in the background. Living in New York City, that's just what you get sometimes. Hope it's not too distracting. Anyways, it is kind of tough to get these two devices to play at the same time. Now, what I could do is just hit both play buttons at once, and that would pretty much do it. But then I'd really have to rely on my timing there. There is a hack that I learned where if I take a cable, plug it into the sync in port of the Volca Sample here, and leave the other end attached to nothing at all, press play on both devices. As soon as I pull out this cable from the sync in port, it'll play both devices at once. Let's mute all of the instruments on the sample just to start, so we only got our Volca Keys sequence playing. Here we go. You can see by this light that the sample is playing. Let's unmute some of these instruments. Here we go. Full beat going. Let's mess around with some of the parameters on the keys. Let's take that cutoff down. And how about the decay and release and the sustain? Turn the resonance up. Turn that cutoff back. Turn that envelope generator intensity up. Let's take that cutoff down a bit. Sorry, the peak. Bring that cutoff all the way up. And as I move up the cutoff, I'm going to increase the decay and release. Let's take that sustain down. Or rather back up. And let's take the cutoff and decay down. Another cool thing I can do is record in the motion sequencing, which will record changes to these parameters as I play them. So I'll go to Function, Motion Sequencing, and I'll clear out anything that might have been on there before. I'll hit Record and Play, and I'll just mess around with a few of these, and it will record them in. Let's start with the cutoff. So you can hear it's recorded that in. I'll hit record again. Let's do the resonance. Doesn't seem to want to record the resonance. How about the envelope generator? That worked. How about some decay and release? Just an example of a lot of the fun you can have with this thing. Let's give that a listen with the Volca sample again, with our motion sequencing in there. Sounding pretty cool so far. All right, let's do a new pattern. I'm going to save that by going to Function, Memory, Save. Let's go to Slot 2, clear out whatever's in there now. And let's do some kind of like drum and bass. Let's take this tempo down. I'm going to go octave all the way down. Let's go to unison. This is pretty cool. Here's what that sounds like. Check out what happens as I detune. So much deeper. All right, let's do a pattern. How about something like this? Like, ooh, super dark and deep. Hit Function, Metronome, and let's record. Awesome. Take that metronome off. Let's take the tempo all the way up to about 150-ish. Let's turn the portamento up. Take that resonance down. All right, let's play that into... All right, let's play that using the Volca sample, using that trick I showed you earlier. Press play on both of these. Let's go to my other pattern on the sample. I'm actually going to mute these for now so we get just the keys sequence playing first. Here we go. Here we go. Press play on both of these. Turn that volume down. Let's unmute these samples. Here we go. Let's mess with some of the parameters on the keys. How about the LFO? Crazy. Take that resonance down. Take that LFO down. Heck yeah. All right, let's go for another type of pattern. Let's try one of these other settings here, maybe octave. Let's take that detune down, bring it up a octave. Let's also take that portamento down. Cool. Let's take that tempo down on the Volca keys, sorry, the sample, and let's first save this pattern, function, memory, slot 2. Let's go to slot 3, clear out whatever's in there now. Clear that out. For some reason, the Volca keys doesn't always immediately clear a sample. You got to hit function and clear a few times. There we go. Metronome's on. That's okay. We'll use it. Let's do this. Let's actually go back down an octave. Let's see what we want to do. I'll play it with the metronome just to mess around, see what I want. 3, 4. Something like that. Let's roll with it. Take that tempo up. Oh, I hate that so much. Let's clear that out. Bring that tempo back down. How about something a little more basic? Let's go up an octave. Okay, try something like that. Here we go. Let's just leave it there. And we're on quarter notes. Let's make that go faster. How about single notes? Let's take that tempo up from the Volca sample, around 120. Let's see how that sounds. Turn that metronome off. Ooh, too fast. How about quarter? Sorry, half. That's okay. I think we can do a better one. Let's try that again. Take this down and let's clear that out. Maybe we just need to go even more simple. Let's actually go down an octave. something like that could work. Let's try it. Great, let's bring that tempo back up to 120. Turn that metronome off. That could work. Let's go to half notes. Okay. Let's go to like a techno pattern on the sample. I'm going to mute all these for now, except the kick. Let's play that through with our handy dandy trick. Hit play on both of these. Here we go. Bring up that LFO. Wow, very cool. Let's do that again, but let's bring the speed up to just singular notes, and that might sound a little nuts, but you know what? Let's see what happens. Hit play on both of these. Let's just go with the kick and the snare for now. Here we go. Crazy. Let's take that resonance down. Take that LFO down. Anyways, all to say that you can get some really cool, really crazy patterns just out of this tiny little box, and it goes so well with this tiny little box. All right, thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or comments about the Korg Volca Keys or the Korg Volca Sample. Happy to answer them for you. Till next time.